How to stay productive and organized as a multi-passionate 27-year-old. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. In today's video, I'm going to give you guys 5 pointers on how to stay productive and organized, especially if you're like me and you like to juggle multiple things at once. A little bit of background just about myself, and if you haven't already watched it, I'll tag a day in the life over here. I work 4 days a week, create content on the side. I'm a freelance model. I also work as a physio at the hospital 2 to 3 times a month. I go to the gym every day. I also try to maintain a bit of a social life. On top of all of this, I'm also doing my master's, I'm doing my MBA. During my last unit, I was also overloading. I don't know why. I feel like I juggle a lot of different things. I wear a lot of different hats. I've got a bit of experience on how to stay productive, how to stay on top of things, and I'm going to give you guys all those pointers today. So let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to talk about is to-do lists. They are your best friend. Honestly, like to write them down because I like the feeling of ticking things off. But if you're in a rush and you're needing to get things done, I highly recommend just putting it on your phone and writing a to-do list for the day, potentially in the morning or the night before. So then you've got a bit of a plan on things that you need to get through and tackle through in the day. I actually also like to put down things like my everyday household chores and things that I need to get done. For example, like Monday could be the washing day, Tuesday is cleaning the bathroom, Wednesday is tidying up the kitchen. So I like to add those things in there as well, along with everything else in my to-do list, not just like ticking in the back of my mind. I currently also use a weekly planner, so I've got a bit of a plan on the things that I get done during the week, and then I've got my daily to-do lists as well. I find that this is really useful for me, to-do lists. The only little thing that I run into, which is a bit of a problem, is I love ticking things off. So I always tick off the easy to do things and I leave the difficult things to the end. But I am a morning person, so I really should do those difficult things in the morning when I've got the energy and mental capacity, and do the easy stuff at the end. We're working on it. Leads me into my next point. Know what your non-negotiables are and stick to it. I find that having non-negotiables in your day really avoids burnout, and these non-negotiables are things that fill up my cup or things that make me feel good I'm doing for my health and well-being, so that I can show up in the best possible way for all the other responsibilities that I have. To do my non-negotiables, I actually use a habit tracker, something that I learned from Atomic Habits when I read the book. If there was one thing that I took away from that book, it was tracking my habits, because I'm someone who loves to document everything, loves to tick things off, and it was just a really good motivator to stick to my habits. Using a habit tracker really enforces that whole doing something every single day and improving it by 1% results in exponential growth. If that is for you, potentially going to the gym and working on something every single day, if you do that, you are going to see growth. For me, a lot of that was to do with my inner self and spending some time introspecting and looking within. I incorporated all of that into my habit tracker. Honestly, it has done wonders, to a point where there's some habits on there that I don't have to put on my tracker anymore because it's such a habit that I do it every day. A lot of you guys have previously actually asked about the habit tracker I use, so I have added the link down below. There is a PDF of the habit tracker that I use, and I just screenshot that little part and print it out every month and add whatever it is that I want to add into the month and take out anything that has become a habit. Some of my non-negotiables include meditate, journal, and read. I go for a walk, and I usually listen to a podcast or listen to something that makes me think about my well-being or introspect or spirituality. So I go for a walk before I even go to work in the morning. A couple of my other non-negotiables in the day is going to the gym or some sort of exercise in the day. Sometimes I like to incorporate yoga. I make sure that I have 2 liters of water, and I've actually added my protein amount to my habit tracker as well, because sometimes if I'm not eating the right things, I miss out on having the right amount of protein, and that really affects my gym work because I am quite dedicated to the gym, and if I'm feeling super exhausted because I just don't have the right nutrients in my body, it's a bit of a problem. So I've added that in as well. I don't have the greatest night routine just yet, but I'm working on it, and I've added things like affirmations before bed, switching off any social media at 10:30 at night, and trying to go to sleep by 11 o'clock. I do find that my night routine, I don't get to tick it off every day, so I'm not on top of it yet, but I am getting there. This actually leads me to my next point, because my next point is talking about routines. I think routines are great, and I think it's really important to have a really good routine. It encourages productivity. When your mind already knows that, yep, at this time we're going to do this, and at this time we're going to do this, it's already preparing for it, rather than having a day where it's like, what shall we do now? I've kind of figured out that during the course of my day, I'm a morning person, so I am most alert. The greatest work that I do is in the morning. I've honed in on that and started waking up even earlier than I previously used to wake up. So I spend that morning time looking within. So I use that for healing, I use that for growth, I use that for self-development. Knowing that in the morning I do my best work, I feed that back to myself, working on me to show up as the best version of myself. During the day, I obviously do my work, my paid salary work, and then after work I'm usually feeling quite lethargic and I'm wanting to eat and I'm wanting to relax a bit. At this point I actually take myself to the gym, so I go and get it done straight after work before I come home, because I know once I get home I'm gonna feel lazy. Do my workout, usually it consists of about an hour, and then when I get home it's usually about 6:30. Think about dinner, let's think about unwinding and relaxing. I do that for a little bit. Normally at around 8 o'clock I'm back open with my laptop and I'm doing a bit of uni work. I don't mind doing uni work at night. I am able to listen to lectures, able to read and absorb without really needing to use brain power. I don't know how to explain it. Like I feel like it is more relaxed work. I will also link somewhere up here my morning routine, which I think I've perfected to the point where I'm loving it. I've done it for months now. I am actually excited to wake up in the morning to get this stuff done because I feel so fulfilled when I do. In the Hindu philosophy, it is also said that time in the morning is your most contemplative and spiritual self. And this is why I use that time to look within. I also then find that during the day when I'm doing my work, around 2 o'clock after lunchtime, I have a bit of a lull. I know that I'm definitely not doing my best work around that time, and I try to allocate work that doesn't involve too much brain power. I can't always do that, but I try to. I've gotten rid of all my streaming services because I realized watching TV does not help me unwind. I'm usually half watching, half scrolling on my phone, and it's really not time that I'm like dedicating to anything. If I do want to take my mind off things and just like be immersed in something, I've just changed that to reading. I'm really excited about the books I'm reading. I've actually got a TV in my room. Crazy, because I haven't turned it on for at least over a year. The only TV that I really do watch is the Harry Potter movies when I feel like watching Harry Potter, which is pretty often. When we are putting together our routine in the day, I think it's also really important to block out times for different things. Time blocking has been a godsend for me. My calendar is my best friend, especially on my day off of work and on the weekends. If it's not in my calendar, it is not happening. That includes all my social activities, all my jobs that I need to get done, any deadlines that I have, all the content that I need to produce. All of that has a deadline and it has blocked out times. Otherwise, I haven't allocated the time for it and I just get overwhelmed with how much there is to do. So I think when you've blocked out time, you can actually decrease that stress because your mind's not holding all of that. It's all out in that calendar out there. Blocking out time is your best friend when you've got a lot on and you've got different hats you're wearing and you've just got to get things done. This point comes really hand in hand with having a routine. Honestly, using locations for the different jobs that you have. I know it's really hard, like you don't always have space for everything. For some people, you know, their study areas in their bedroom, their sleep area is also their bedroom, their living space, everyone else is in it, and so you can't really use that space effectively. But honestly, if you can find some different spots for your different activities and different jobs in the day, it can be really useful for productivity. I know that there's evidence around using locations as cues to toggle your memory, and Marie Kondo also says that everything that you own should have a spot, should have a space for it, and should have a home. I similarly believe that every piece of work that you do should have a place, and it should be somewhere where you can go and be like, yeah, this spot is for me to now sit down and do this. For example, I don't get the same amount of work done when I'm sitting in bed doing work. I just feel like resting, I feel like scrolling social media. It's not the same space as me going to the study and doing the work that I want to do. I use the living room and living space to edit YouTube videos or help myself create content or write pieces that I need to write. Anything creative I kind of do between my bedroom and the living room. I use my bedroom for content as well because I think it's my haven. I've kind of got everything that I love in here. I try not to do it in bed. The living space I also use for a lot of my study. I honestly sit on the ground and have my laptop on the coffee table, and it's just a really good space for me to study. Specifically to study, I use the 20 minutes of dedicated work, 5 minutes off method. That seems to work really well for me. I then use the study to do work and sometimes MBA work, but if I am working from home, I like to switch off from work. So I use the study as almost my office. Once I've done with the day, I like to get out of that room because then I'm not thinking about work. So the other thing that I use my room for is my me time, my morning routine, my meditation and journaling. Like I said, it is my haven. It's the place where I feel safe. So I enjoy doing it here. If I could, I would love to go to the beach and do that. I can't go to the beach every single day. Could, but you might find that it's really hard to find different spots for different things. But I think you can also use your external environment. I've got a cafe nearby, and sometimes if I can't think clearly and write when I'm at home, I find going there is really useful. So sometimes you can also even use things around you that are not in your home to help you do the best work. And finally, my last point and last reminder to you all is to be kind to yourself. We do not have to be productive 24/7. We don't have to subscribe to hustle culture. We can honestly enjoy and live our lives as we want. I just think it's important to make sure that we're not wasting our time by aimlessly scrolling through social media, engaging in conversation that's not stimulating, and just not doing the things that are improving ourselves, filling our cups, making us happy and making us better. When I say productivity, I actually mean not just doing jobs, but doing things that are really stimulating you. And one of the things that we really need to prioritize when we are doing work that is so stimulating is prioritizing rest. It's so important to make sure you are well rested to keep doing the work that you're doing. I think it's so important to remember that one point from Atomic Habits: 1% better every day, not 20% better tomorrow and then a burnout the day after. When you're feeling like you're not doing as much as you can, just remember you are not failing. You can only do 1% better every day, and as long as that intention is there, you can be kind to yourself and be like, I'll do better tomorrow, I'll do better the next day, and you are allowed to rest and relax. So make sure you actually incorporate that and fill up your own cup, because if you don't do that, you cannot show up as the best version of yourself. And the last thing I'd want to say is, when you are actually doing an activity, make sure you're actually present in that activity and doing it fully before you move on to the next thing. If in your mind all you can think of is what that next activity is and you're not present in what you're doing, you're not going to do your best work. If you find that your mind is constantly going to that next thing and you're very anxious and worried, honestly take a break. Stop, go for a quick walk, listen to a song, do something to just reset and come back. These are my 5 tips on how to stay productive when you're wearing multiple hats and you're responsible for so many different things. This is how I stay productive. I am not best at it. I think I've still got a long way to go. Be kind to yourself. I'm going to be kind to myself and keep working at it. When you do feel like you're doing work that is aligned to you, you feel so fulfilled and you want to keep going. So if you got anything out of this and resonated with some of the stuff that I talked about, be sure to like this video, comment down below on what you thought or anything that you connected with, and be sure to subscribe because I love having you here. And if you are enjoying my videos, you'll then know when I'm releasing another video. So stay tuned for the next video. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.